Dear listeners, good morning and welcome to Comme d'Archi, Season 1 of Summer, the podcast that opens the doors to the fascinating world of architecture. For newcomers, let me introduce myself. I'm the spokesperson of Anne-Charlotte Despont, PhD in History of Architecture, published author, head of a communication and development agency based in Paris, France, dedicated to architecture. Let's meet every week to discuss culture and architecture with specialists and learn how to look at projects through a context and diversity lens. To offer you the best content, Philippe Henri, sound engineer, is at the technical helm of the podcast. Thank you for being with me today, and now it's time for talent.
Bienvenue dans Comme d'Archi.
In this Comme d'Archi number 20, we have chosen to tell you about the Villa Majorelle, an emblematic house of Art Nouveau in Nancy, which has recently been restored. The information is already circulating widely in the media, French architecture magazines, TV, etc. How can we ignore this news in Comme d'Archi? How can we not encourage our compatriots to visit this marvel of domestic architecture, symbol of French Art Nouveau during their summer holiday? It has been restored to its original state. The restoration teams preferred to keep the wear marks of certain elements rather than to go towards a didactic and fixed museum restoration. The Villa Majorelle is the first entirely Art Nouveau building in the city of Nancy. It was designed in 1901-1902 by the architect Henri Sauvage when he was only 26 years old for the furniture designer Louis Majorelle, whose son, Jacques Majorelle, sold the house to the government after his father's death in 1926. The gradual rediscovery of Art Nouveau heritage led to the Villa Majorelle being listed as a historical monument in 1975 and then to its classification in 1996. The city of Nancy has owned the house since 2003 and has been offering weekend guided tours since 2007. Public interest in the building is obvious. The City Council has entrusted the Ecole de Nancy Museum dedicated to the Art Nouveau movement of the Ecole de Nancy, with the responsibility of defining the scientific and cultural project of the house, with the idea of making it a heritage site open to the public. After several months of renovation work, visitors can now enjoy a trip back in time to discover the artist's family life thanks to the meticulous restoration of the original decoration and furnishings. Nearly 100 pieces of furniture, paintings, and objets d'art from the collection of the Musée de l'École de Nancy are on display in the villa. Most of the furniture in the house is original, but other objects identical to those in the villa had to be sought. A final phase of work is planned for 2021-2022, which will not require the house to be closed to the public. It includes the recreation of the bathroom and the wardrobe adjoining the bedroom, the creation of educational spaces on the first floor, and the renovation of Louis Majorelle's workshop on the second floor. For the layman, I remind you that Art Nouveau appeared in Europe at the beginning of the 20th century. In architecture, this art resulted in the transposition of vegetal motifs made of stone, iron, etc. For example, Hector Guimard's subway stations or mini buildings in the 16th arrondissement of Paris. The emblematic figure of this movement is the Spanish architect Antonio Gaudí. Henri Sauvage, at the beginning of his career, crossed this movement, then evolved towards more hygienism realizations, closely accompanying the innovations of his time. Some of his work include the famous immeuble à gradins on the Rue Levaillant in Paris, where mythical scenes from the film The Last Tango in Paris were shot, or the HBM in the Rue des Amirals with the integration of a swimming pool in the heart of the block. To return to the Villa Majorelle, it fascinates us by the transposition of the vegetal motif applied to the construction. It represents a symbiosis of the work of the architect and the craftsman. It is a hymn to the imaginary builder capable of anything. At that time, the plant motif was imitated by transposing it to the heart of a refined, bourgeois domestic equipment. Today, one invites vegetation into one's home, just as it is, without transposing it. Perhaps we have deprived ourselves of the ability to dream. Let us find there. Let us support the crafts that give heart to the work while respecting nature, and let the most beautiful examples inspire us. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to tune in to our previous content on Instagram at Comme d'Archi Podcast. If you like it, make sure to promote the podcast by giving it 5 stars on Apple Podcast and adding a comment, or on any of your favorite podcast platforms. And don't forget to subscribe and listen to all of our episodes for free. See you soon, and until then, take care of yourself.